Incredible Triplets Serenade Hospital. You won't believe what this billionaire doctor whispered. The moment Emma, Aiden, and Mia stepped into Sunnyvale General Hospital, the usually dull, fluorescent lights turned into a warm glow. With their guitar in hand and voices ready to soar, they transformed cold hallways into vibrant paths of hope. Their music flowed like a gentle river, soft, melodious, and soothing. Every week, they poured their hearts into every note, creating ripples of joy that splashed against the hearts of weary patients and families. But one fateful afternoon, while they sang a heartfelt ballad in the crowded waiting room, their harmony reached an unexpected listener. Dr. Harrison, a renowned surgeon known for his philanthropy, stood motionless. A single tear rolled down his cheek as he soaked in their passion, but in a hush that cut through the air like glass, he whispered his chilling observation: "You can't get far in this world without the right connections and money." Those words hung over the triplets like a storm cloud, leaving an unsettling doubt in their hearts. They had always thrived on their mother's teachings, raised in a home that valued hard work and unity above all. But could their unity withstand the harsh truths of reality? With college looming, the pressure mounted, each sibling at a crossroads. Emma craved to chase her musical dream, her soul yearning for melodies, while Aiden wrestled with the daunting fear of losing too much time to ambition. Meanwhile, Mia felt the heavy burden of their family's financial struggles, wanting to shoulder some responsibility for their hard-working mother, whose weary nights in the diner echoed with exhaustion. Each triplet faced their own battle, the weight of dreams against the backdrop of reality, struggling to uphold the admiration of their mother, hope stitched sweetly into sacrifice. Then, one night, the triplets learned of a local family drowning under insurmountable medical bills. It ignited a fierce determination within them. "Let's do a benefit concert," Emma exclaimed, her eyes gleaming with purpose. They rallied the community, pouring every ounce of love and hope into their performance. As feathers of laughter filled the hospital during the concert, heartwarming connections blossomed among families, the energy electrifying. The triplets, fueled by purpose, sang for those too weighed down by their reality to find hope. Amidst the applause and joyful expressions, Dr. Harrison re-entered, disbelief etched on his face. The shadows of his previous comments faded as he studied the unity and joy in the room, a rare smile breaking through his normally reserved demeanor. Approaching the triplets, he offered his assistance, not just words, but the means to further their dreams of music. The offer reached out like a hand in the darkness, half illuminated with promise, but with the excitement came echoes of doubt. Was accepting his help a gamble with their pride? They stood at the precipice of opportunity, struggling with the weight of what it meant to chase their dreams under someone else's wing. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the last notes faded into memory, an electric silence swept through the crowd. The triplets exchanged glances, the bond they shared shimmering with uncertainty. Dreams dangled just out of reach, entangled with hope and fear. What would they choose, faith in their roots, or a leap toward the glowing horizon that lay ahead? The question lingered in the air, the echoes of their performance blending with the delicate whispers of possibility. The days that followed the concert were a whirlwind of emotions for Emma, Aiden, and Mia. Their minds buzzed with thoughts of Dr. Harrison's offer, spinning like a merry-go-round of hope and doubt. They weren't just dreaming anymore, they were standing at a fork in the road with the possibilities stacked against them. Emma found herself on bed late one night, the soft strumming of the guitar filling the quiet room. The melody mingled with her thoughts, each chord echoing her desire to create. The dreams she kept locked inside swirled around her like leaves dancing in the wind. She imagined her voice filling stadiums, crowds cheering, all while sharing stories through songs. But was she ready to step into the light with help from someone she barely knew? In the kitchen, Aiden fiddled with a piece of toast, his gaze distant. He had always been the responsible one, weighing every decision carefully. Accepting help felt like admitting defeat. But the ambition inside him was restless, urging him to reach for the stars. He chewed thoughtfully on his bread, pondering whether it was more important to stay loyal to his family's struggle or to embrace the chance to break free. Meanwhile, Mia sat at her desk, bills spread around her like confetti. Her heart twisted at the thought of her mom working late again, exhaustion painting shadows under her eyes. She felt a tug of desperation mixed with hope. We could make a difference, she whispered to herself, yet the shadows of potential failure loomed large. Could she be the one to bail them out? Could the concert bring enough change to lift their burdens? A collective sigh echoed around the house one evening as they gathered in the living room. The TV hummed quietly in the background, flickering light dancing on tired faces. What if we said yes? Emma blurted, breaking the silence. Aiden frowned, but at what cost, Em? We're not the kind to lean on someone else's support. What if we owe him more than we can give? Mia's determination matched Emma's hope. But it's an opportunity. We have this chance to not just help ourselves but others too. Her fingers twisted nervously over a stack of papers, feeling the weight of her family's expectations. The air thickened with tension, the room steeped in hesitation. They each thrummed with different beats, hearts racing as they processed their possible choices. It became clearer that what connected them wasn't just the dream of healing their family's struggles, but their longing for something more. They found themselves on the precipice of not just personal dreams, but stepping fiercely into the world together as one. After a long pause, Emma spoke again, determination painting her voice. We could twist this to our favor. Let us show Dr. Harrison what we can do, together. We'll work harder, write better music, and use this opportunity to lift everyone up. Their resolve ignited hope again, but the shadows still loomed. Could they prove their worth on his terms? Were they ready to redefine what success meant? As their plans unfolded, a sudden knock at the door jarred them from their thoughts. Standing there was a familiar face, someone from the concert, a single mother who held a small child in her arms, tears shimmering in her eyes. I heard your music, and it brought my son back from the edge, she said, her voice cracking. You don't understand how much hope you gave me. The triplets exchanged glances, the reality crashing down around them. This wasn't just about them anymore, it was about every soul touched by their harmonies. What kind of impact could they create with their voices? And what would accepting Dr. Harrison's help mean for the journey ahead? The door was open, revealing a world full of possibilities, challenges, and connections. As the mother stepped inside, the triplets felt the weight of their decision pulling them forward. They were no longer just siblings with dreams, they were becoming a force that could spark change. And in that moment, a name came to mind, a name that brought notes buzzing with urgency and clarity. What if we called it the Hope Initiative? Emma suggested. One thought tied them together like a bow, wrapping them in expectation and purpose. But would hope be enough to carry them forward as they ventured into the unknown? The very next day, the sun rose with a bright promise. Emma, Aiden, and Mia gathered at the kitchen table, where the remnants of last night's conversation still lingered like the sweet smell of coffee. As the sunlight spilled through the window, it cast hopeful shadows across the stack of papers Mia had spread on the table, outlines for songs, potential venues, and contact lists for charity organizations they were eager to reach out to. Emma tapped her fingers rhythmically on the wood, invigorated by the adrenaline of possibility. All right, what do we need to do first? We have to get our ideas in order. This is our chance. The excitement lit up her eyes. Let us set some goals, Aiden replied, his tone measured but infused with a spark of motivation. If we know what we want to achieve, we can strategize better. What do we envision for the Hope Initiative? What message do we want to deliver? Mia's heart raced as she joined in. We have to make it personal. Let us reach out to those who need us, share our stories, and craft songs that reflect their struggles and triumphs. We'll write about things they can relate to. Aiden nodded, jotting down their ideas. And we'll showcase their stories in our music. This isn't just about us anymore, it's for the families, for the friendships, for everyone who feels lost. They spent the morning brainstorming, laughing, and dreaming about their future performances, each edition fueling their collective enthusiasm. It was thrilling to see what happened when their hopes tangled together, thrilling and terrifying. As the day unfolded, they decided to take the initiative a step further. They would host a small event in their town, a concert where they invited local families to share their stories, alongside their own music. Mia's pulse quickened at the thought. It felt risky but necessary. They had to create a community connection that was authentic. They worked for hours, transforming the living room into a makeshift studio. Each note they strummed, each lyric they crafted, felt almost like a ribbon woven tightly around their hearts, pulling them ever closer to something greater. Just then, the door swung open, and in walked their dad, looking weary but happy to see them working together. "What's this?" he asked, lifting an eyebrow as he spotted the chaos of papers and guitars. "Dad, we're starting something amazing," Emma exclaimed. "We want to combine our music with the stories of people in need, like the woman who visited us yesterday." His smile grew, and for a moment, they all felt the warmth of his encouragement wrap around them. "I'm proud of you kids," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Just remember, you're stronger together. Don't lose sight of that." With renewed energy, they dove back into their work. As night fell, they found themselves enveloped in a cocoon of creativity, the melodies swirling around them like a dance, bringing them closer to their dream. Their phones buzzed simultaneously, shattering the peaceful bubble. It was a message from Dr. Harrison. "I'd love to meet and discuss the Hope Initiative. When can we get together?" Mia's breath caught in her throat. This was the moment they'd been waiting for, the sign that their decision to embrace this opportunity was the right choice. But a shadow of doubt flickered at the edges of her excitement. "What do we say? What if he doesn't like our ideas? What if this isn't what he expected?" "Let us focus on what we can control," Aiden said firmly, his eyes glinting with determination. "We just have to be honest. We're in this for the people. For hope." They locked eyes, a fierce glance of shared purpose. If they could convey that to Dr. Harrison, perhaps he would see their vision, embrace it. As they prepared for their meeting, doubt and hope waged a war within them. Would they strike the right chord with the billionaire doctor? Could their music truly be a force for change? With those thoughts swirling in their heads, they turned their gazes to the horizon before them, where the journey had just begun. Would they leap into the unknown, arms wide open, ready to greet whatever come their way? The next day arrived, heavy with anticipation. Emma, Aiden, and Mia gathered early, hushed excitement humming in their hearts. They slid into the living room, guitars propped against the wall, buckets of crossed-out lyrics and sketches sprawled across the table like a map of hopes and fears. "Today's the day," Mia said, her fingers fidgeting nervously with her necklace. "We're actually meeting him." Aiden nodded, but furrowed his brow. "We need to keep our cool. Just remember why we're doing this. The stories matter more than anything else." Emma grinned, her enthusiasm like a candle flickering brighter. "And we've got our songs ready. We can show him how this can really help people." The morning passed with a frantic energy. They practiced their melodies, swapping verses, tightening harmonies, and laughing through nervous mistakes. Each note felt like a lifeline thrown to those they sought to help. Mia found herself mentally rehearsing the speech she wanted to deliver, trying to weave in their vision, their passion, and their commitment to change. When the clock struck noon, the trio went silent, hearts pounding in unison as they prepared to leave. Stepping outside, the world seemed altered, colors more vivid, sounds sharper. Their dad waved them off, his pride evident as he wished them luck. As they drove to the cafe where they would meet Dr. Harrison, Mia's mind flooded with questions. What would he expect? How could they possibly convey their passion to someone with so much influence? What if he thinks our ideas are childish? She whispered, breaking the silence. Then we show him they're not, Aiden replied, glancing at her with reassurance. Children see the world in a truer way, full of hope. That's what we need to share. They pulled into the parking lot, hearts racing, but hesitation gripped Mia's chest. Okay, deep breaths, we can do this, she told herself. As they entered the cafe, the scent of freshly brewed coffee enveloped them, serving as an odd comfort amidst their nerves. Dr. Harrison was already waiting, seated at a corner table, his laptop open but his attention on the door. As they approached, he looked up, and his mouth formed an encouraging smile. You guys made it. I'm excited to hear about the Hope Initiative. The trio exchanged glances, breath hitching in their throats. They took their seats, feeling the weight of expectations. After brief introductions, Aiden kicked things off. Thank you for meeting with us, Dr. Harrison. We want to share something important. Emma jumped in, her voice steadying. This initiative is about connecting our music to real stories, helping those who feel unheard. Mia watched, captivated by their ease, as the conversation unfolded. They shared tales of struggles, moments of connection, and laughter that rang true in how music could bridge divides. But just as their enthusiasm peaked, Aiden paused, his eyes narrowing for a moment. What do you think about working together, Dr. Harrison? Our song, the stories they could really bring communities together. Dr. Harrison leaned back, contemplating. I admire your passion. But you need funding to make this resonate. Have you thought about scale? Mia felt a tightening in her chest. We were hoping to start small, to build genuine relationships. But do you think that's enough? With a thoughtful gaze, Dr. Harrison replied, the heart of your project is powerful, but the impact may require a deeper strategy. Were their dreams too naive? The question hung silently, the room buzzed with hope and doubt intertwined. Let us brainstorm together, Dr. Harrison continued gently. We can refine your idea, considering the way it's presented to attract support. They exchanged glances, relief washing over them. Mia started to feel those doubts fading. Maybe working with him is just what we need, she thought, as excitement bubbled back to the surface. Before they departed, Dr. Harrison leaned in closer. But one thing before we go. Music is emotional. Trust that authenticity, and don't shy away from sharing your own stories too. As they walked back to the car, Mia smiled. At her siblings, the energy between them electric. What if this is just the beginning? We can shape this into something bigger. What's next? Emma asked, her eyes glinting with eagerness. Mia looked at the horizon, a fresh wave of determination washing over her. We prepare for the next meeting, no holds barred. And as the sun dipped low, casting vibrant colors across the sky, the trio knew their journey was far from over. But amid all the excitement, one thought lingered: could they truly handle the responsibility of this dream? The week flew by in a blur of rehearsals and planning. Mia barely caught a full breath before the next meeting with Dr. Harrison loomed ahead. They had worked together, refining their ideas, reworking their pitches, and even recording a demo of the song that had transformed through their conversations. There was an urgency in the air, like the gust of wind that heralds a storm. Emma was in the living room, pacing with a guitar slung across her back, while Aiden fiddled with his phone, reading updates about community initiatives that resembled their project. Mia was sprawled on the floor, surrounded by notes and colorful sticky tabs, desperately trying to conjure a way to express their vision in a way that spoke to the doctor's heart and mind. Mia! Emma called out, snapping Mia from her concentration. What if we incorporated a video to tell our story? People are visual. It might help them feel connected. That's brilliant! Mia exclaimed, excitement shimmering in her eyes. We could showcase real stories, people we've met. That way, it's not just us talking about hope, we'll show them. Aiden smirked, adjusting his glasses. All right, video producers. We need to plan this out. Let us gather clips from our neighborhood, hear people's experiences, and weave it all together with our music. The emotional punch will come alive. Mia's heart swelled. They were really going to do this. The idea of spreading their message through real-life stories filled her with a mix of warmth and determination. It was as if every strum of the guitar and every word penned was a step closer to helping someone, somewhere, feel less alone. As the day for the meeting with Dr. Harrison approached, their excitement was accompanied by a shared undercurrent of anxiety. Mia felt it most acutely. What if they fell short again? What if all their hard work didn't translate when they finally stood in front of him? Remember, Aiden said softly, catching her gaze, we're sharing these stories. Our stories. We have to be brave. You're right, she responded, her voice steadying. We can't hold back, we have to trust that this matters. The morning of the meeting arrived with the sky painted in pastel hues, a comforting reminder that a new day also brought new opportunities. They arrived early, their demo clip still a work in progress filling the back seat along with their nerves. As they approached the cafe once again, Mia couldn't shake a feeling of familiarity mingled with an electric anticipation. Dr. Harrison was already seated at their favorite corner table, tapping away at his laptop. Good to see you all again, he said with a warm smile. I've been eager to hear what you've put together. After brief greetings, the trio launched into their presentation. Emma spoke passionately about the stories they gathered, Aiden highlighted the emotional impact, and Mia shut her eyes briefly, imagining each story as a thread woven into a larger tapestry of change. When they finally played their song, a mesmerizing blend of chords and heartfelt lyrics, Mia found herself lost in the moment, as if they were creating magic together. But when they finished, silence filled the air. Dr. Harrison leaned back, his brow furrowed in thought. Mia held her breath, waiting for his response. I'm impressed, he began slowly, but I think we need to dive deeper. He paused, gauging their reactions before he continued. Your music is wonderful. But let us focus on a mission statement that brings every piece together. The emotional ties are essential, yes, but you need a clear vision that is succinct and powerful. Mia clenched her fists, the sting of his words washing over her. Is it possible to achieve that without losing the essence of our stories? Absolutely, he assured, his tone softer. It just requires refining. Feeling a mixture of relief and uncertainty, Mia nodded. They had encountered another obstacle, but with Dr. Harrison's guidance, they could turn it into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. As they stepped outside, a sturdy warmth enveloped Mia. She turned to Emma and Aiden. We can do this. We'll work on that mission statement and make it shine. But together, they also needed to confront a deeper question. What sacrifices were they willing to make in pursuit of their dreams? As they drove home, each verse of their song echoed in Mia's mind, reminding her that their journey was just beginning. The weight of responsibility pressed down, and yet hope soared as high as the clouds above. How far were they willing to stretch their definition of success? And were they ready for the waves of attention that could come crashing down once they put themselves out there? The next few days were a whirlwind of energy and sleepless nights. Mia, Emma, and Aiden dove into brainstorming sessions with fresh zeal, fueled by their meeting with Dr. Harrison. The cafe buzzed with conversations and ideas, the air thick with the smell of coffee and pastries, but all Mia could hear was the sound of her friends' voices melding into the heartbeat of their mission. Let us bring the stories to life, Emma said one evening, her eyes sparkling as she waved her hands animatedly. Each story needs to echo in every word we sing. Aiden scribbled notes feverishly. What about a tagline? Something punchy that conveys hope right off the bat. His determination was infectious, and Mia felt her own spirit start to lift. With every late night and every brainstorming session, the mission statement began to take shape. It was a mosaic of their dreams and the realities of those they hoped to inspire, a testament to perseverance and connection. But alongside this excitement, anxiety crept in. Could they really encapsulate the gravity of their vision in just a few powerful words? Okay, everyone take a breath, Mia called during one session where they had gathered once more in Aiden's living room, the walls adorned with posters of artists whose music had brought comfort to her as a child. Let us focus on what we want this to evoke in people. What is the heart of it? As they shared ideas, Mia's thoughts drifted to the faces of those they met throughout the neighborhood. She recalled a young girl who had bravely shared her struggles with illness and a hopeful grandmother who had sung along to a song during one of their community events. Those moments ignited a fire deep within her. Hope, healing, and connection, Emma murmured, her voice crystallizing a realization that resonated in the room. That's our essence. They crafted and reshaped the mission statement late into the night. Each time it began to feel right, they would all nod in agreement, the pulse of creativity rhythmically flowing between them. Yet, beneath the surface, what gnawed at Mia was the nagging question: would Dr. Harrison believe in it? Would it be enough? With the deadline for her proposal looming, Mia took a long walk the following day to clear her head. The early autumn air was crisp, leaves tumbling joyfully down sidewalks like kids chasing after each other. Every step she took felt monumental, as though she were in her own music video, searching for clarity, passing the very spots where their stories had begun. As she meandered through their neighborhood, she saw familiar faces, those of the children at the community center, the elderly couple who sat in the park, and the local shop owners who believed in her team's vision. Their laughter, their struggles and their stories became her anchor. She returned home heavy with resolve. "We are doing this for them," she whispered to herself. "Each word has to matter." That night, they reconvened with determined hearts and a polished statement that finally felt like it belonged to all of them. Each took their turn presenting it to each other, relishing in the pride and vulnerability that draped over the room as they embraced their power to inspire. But just as things began to settle, a message buzzed through Mia's phone. She glanced down, her heart dropping as she read it. "Dr. Harrison wants to meet again tomorrow." The reality hit her like a splash of cold water. They were about to share their refined vision, but what if it wasn't enough? "Mia, are you okay?" Emma asked, sensing Mia's sudden change in posture, her brow furrowed in a mix of excitement and dread. I just want him to see the heart of this." Mia trailed off, uncertainty knitting her brow. "Could their bond withstand the scrutiny? Then we show him everything we've got." Aiden replied, his energetic optimism shining. As they gathered to finalize their presentation, the pressure mounted, but deep down, Mia felt a flicker of something else, an ember of hope, ready to be ignited by their passion. Tomorrow would change everything. But how? The moment loomed ahead, and as Mia stared into the distance, the question simmered beneath the surface: if this mission meant everything to them, what were they willing to stake on it? The next day dawned gray and chilly, clouds hanging dense in the sky, mirroring Mia's mood. She felt the weight of the world pressing against her, yet every time she thought of the potential impact of their mission, warmth would light a fire in her chest. Emma and Aiden excitedly paced around the room, their energy a contrast to the storm brewing outside. Mia glanced at the clock. Time seemed to drag, each tick an echo of her racing heart. She took a deep breath and tried to steady herself. They had prepared meticulously, woven together every detail of their vision, but doubt lingered in the corners of her mind. "Okay, we have everything ready." She finally broke the silence, her voice wavering slightly. "Absolutely," Aiden beamed, shooting a thumbs up. "We got this, Mia. Just remember, we're sharing what makes us who we are." Emma, her face lit with enthusiasm, chimed in with conviction, "And that's all that matters. We're not just pitching a project, we're sharing our hearts." Their supportive words helped chase some of the shadows away. When the meeting door swung open, Mia felt her pulse quicken. Dr. Harrison walked in, his demeanor calm yet commanding, the distinct air of authority surrounding him like a halo. His sharp suit contrasted sharply with the warmth in Mia's heart, a subtle reminder that this was a man who held so much power over their future. "Good morning, everyone," he said, settling into a chair and regarding them thoughtfully. "I'm eager to hear what you've been working on." Mia's mouth went dry, but she offered a determined smile. "Thank you for meeting with us again." She took a deep breath and began to outline their proposal, her nerves dancing chaotically. Emma and Aiden chimed in, and their combined passion started to fill the room. They spoke with such fervor, recounting the stories that inspired them and the mission that had grown from their dreams. Dr. Harrison listened intently, occasionally nodding, and Mia noted how his brow furrowed at certain points. Was it skepticism? Concern? When they finished, a palpable silence enveloped the room. Mia's heart thundered as she awaited his response. Dr. Harrison leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled beneath his chin. "You've crafted something powerful here," he said finally, but there was a hesitation in his voice that made Mia's stomach flip. "I can see the passion. Yet it feels like part of the connection is missing." Aiden opened his mouth to respond, but Mia took a deep breath, sensing this was her moment. The same spirit that ignited her heart in their late-night sessions pushed her to speak. "We're not just sharing ideas, we're sharing lives. Each word connects to someone's story. We just want to spark hope and let people know they're not alone, that we stand with them." Dr. Harrison studied her, and for a moment, his expression softened. "That's important, Mia. But you need to show that connection, make it vibrant and inclusive." The conversation unfolded like an intricate dance. Dr. Harrison's feedback was constructive, guiding them to enhance their proposal. Each suggestion felt like nails driving further into Mia's confidence. He was challenging them but also encouraging them to dig deeper, to connect more intimately with their audience. After what felt like ages, he nodded thoughtfully. "I see potential here. But I need you all to think about how to present these stories in a way that resonates beyond the words. We want to invite others in, to experience it." They absorbed his words, an electric thrill buzzing in their veins. The weight of the meeting transformed into something different, a growing appreciation of the work they had ahead. As they walked out of the conference room, Mia felt buoyed. They had to harness the suggestions of Dr. Harrison and add more depth to their mission. But before they could celebrate, Mia's phone pinged with another message, pulling her attention. She glanced at the screen and felt a chill. It was a request for an urgent follow-up, but from someone she hadn't expected, the local news station. "What does this mean?" she murmured, her heart racing. Had the pressure just ramped up on them, or was this the perfect opportunity to spread their message? As the trio stood there, their eyes locked in a shared sense of purpose, Mia couldn't shake the thought, what if this meant they were stepping onto a larger stage than they had ever imagined? And what if they weren't ready for it? They had opened one door, and now another was waiting. Would they rise to the occasion? The news station's request felt like both an opportunity and a ticking clock. Mia's thoughts raced as she processed what they would have to face. The glowing screen in her hand became heavy, and she could almost see the pressure building around them like an impending storm. "We need to prepare," Mia said, forcing calm into her voice. Aiden's face lit up, and Emma's eyes sparkled with excitement, contrasting starkly with the unease creeping up on her. "Preparation is key," Aiden asserted, and Mia could see him mentally drafting ideas, his energy contagious. "How do we present our mission live?" Emma asked, her enthusiasm tinged with concern. "It needs to be impactful without being overwhelming. We can't lose our essence." Mia nodded. She realized they had to distill everything down to its core, to what really mattered. "We share our personal stories. That's what connects us to others. Sharing our struggles and triumphs will resonate. We have to be authentic." Aiden clapped his hands together. "Yes. We can set up a space where we can talk about what this means, include visuals, maybe even interact with the audience. Let's make them feel part of our community." Emma bounced on her toes. "I can gather a few testimonials from people who have been positively impacted by what we do. That would showcase the heart behind our mission." But as they brainstormed, Mia felt the weight of the decision looming over her. Live television wasn't just about showcasing their mission. There would be scrutiny, judgment, and expectations. But what if we can't convey it the right way? What if they don't understand? "Mia, if they don't understand, we just try harder. We've already fought so much to get here. This is another step, not the end. We owe it to ourselves and everyone who believes in us," Aiden reassured her, his confidence radiating. It was the reminder she needed. With plans in motion, they dove headfirst into preparation. It became a whirlwind of late-night sessions and early morning edits. Mia managed schedules, Emma coordinated visuals, and Aiden rehearsed their narrative. They crafted every word, shaping their stories to be as resonant as possible. The transformation in them felt electric. On the day of the presentation, Mia stood before a mirror, her heart pounding. She looked at her reflection, searching for the spark that had fueled their mission from the start. "You can do this," she whispered to herself. Arriving at the station, they were met with the buzz of crew members hustling around. Cameras glinted under bright lights, and Mia's stomach fluttered with nerves. This was it. "Just like we practiced, okay?" Emma whispered, squeezing Mia's hand for reassurance. They nodded at one another, the warmth of their bond fighting back the chill creeping over Mia. As they were ushered onto the set, they were greeted by the imposing figure of the host, a slick smile and practiced charm that instantly made Mia's pulse race. "Welcome, folks. I'm excited to hear your story today." They took their positions, adjusting their microphones, but Mia's eyes drifted to the camera, the red light glowing like a beacon of both promise and peril. Suddenly, the world outside faded, and all that mattered was the connection they had fought to forge. When the interview began, she tuned into the moment, her heart steadying, but as she launched into their mission, an unexpected voice broke through. Dr. Harrison, his sharp eyes scanning the studio from the monitors. What was he doing here? Mia swallowed hard. Was he there to support them, or to confirm the doubts he had lingered previously? And just as she thought they were finding their rhythm, a question emerged from the host that sent a ripple of doubt through them. What makes your mission unique compared to others? Mia felt the spotlight intensifying, the weight of the world pushing down on her once more. This was the moment that could change everything. Would she rise to the occasion? As she gathered their thoughts, uncertainty flickered like a candle in the wind. The only thing she knew for certain was that this was about to test everything they believed in. Would they be able to convey their message in a way that resonated? Or would the enormity of it all swallow them whole? Mia's heartbeat accelerated as she opened her mouth to respond. The question hung in the air, heavy with expectation. What makes us unique? She echoed, feeling the weight of the entire studio's gaze upon them. She searched for the right words, hoping to transform her anxiety into power. Aiden leaned closer, a silent pep talk brimming in his eyes. Authenticity, she finally said, her voice steadying just a fraction. We're not just a charity or an organization. We are individuals who've lived through adversity. What we do is deeply personal. Our mission was born from our own pain, our own struggles. She glanced at Emma, who smiled wide, as if to remind her that they were in this together. The host nodded, intrigued but skeptical. That's compelling. But how do you ensure your message cuts through the noise? By connecting, by making it relatable, Aiden chimed in. We've been where so many people find themselves. Every story we tell, every life we touch is woven with threads of hope and resilience. We want our audience to understand that it's not just these success stories that matter but the journey behind them. As the words flowed, Mia felt some of the pressure lift. They were finding their footing, a rhythm that felt like a dance born from the heart. She noticed the crew, the staff behind the cameras, leaning in, genuinely interested. And what about Dr. Harrison? The host asked, a shadow flickering across Mia's mind. Would Dr. Harrison disrupt them again? Given his history, he could rival their authenticity or, worse, take the opportunity to undermine it. Dr. Harrison, Mia started, searching for a diplomatic way to convey her feelings. He has had a different perspective on our mission. His contributions aren't always aligned with our vision, but they stem from a place of wanting to help. Through the glaring lights, she caught a glimpse of Dr. Harrison watching from the sidelines, his expression inscrutable. It troubled her. She felt the flicker of doubt again. How easily could he take this moment and twist it against them? That's an interesting dynamic, the host said, clearly intrigued. And how do you see yourselves evolving in this environment? Emma spoke up, her passion washing away Mia's apprehension. We learn from every interaction. Every voice matters. Our journey isn't about being the experts, it's about engaging with our community, understanding their needs. Mia could almost hear the applause of their supporters in her mind. She held on to that thought like a lifeline. As they continued, something shifted in the studio. She could sense the tide turning, how their sincerity was wrapping around the audience, tugging at heartstrings. A few faces in the crowd were wiping away tears. She could feel their shared struggles. "Okay, so let's take some questions from the audience," the host announced, breaking up their flow. Mia felt a sudden spike of anxiety. She scanned the sea of faces, each one bringing forth a story of its own. Then a soft-spoken woman raised her hand. "How do you handle setbacks? There are days when giving feels impossible." Mia opened her mouth to reply, but before she could gather her thoughts, Dr. Harrison stood up from behind the cameras. The eyes of everyone in the room shifted to him, tension crackling in the air. "I think I can answer that better," he said, a smirk creeping onto his face. "You see, setbacks are just part of a game you need to learn to play with discipline." His words pierced through Mia like shards of glass. Here it comes, a moment that could tip the balance. She could feel her heart racing again, wanting to cry out against the unfairness of it all. "Mia," Emma whispered, tugging at her sleeve, grounding her. Taking a deep breath, Mia steeled herself. "We are more than just setbacks, Dr. Harrison. We are the strength that comes from them." The response hung in the air, echoing her emotions and igniting a spark of fight within her. She wasn't going to let him define them, but was this confrontation going to unravel everything they had built so far? As silence enveloped them, Mia realized they were standing on a precipice, the weight of truth heavy in the air. The outcome hung in the balance, teetering between connection and chaos. Could she navigate this moment and emerge stronger? Or would their mission be left to the whims of other voices? Mia took a deep breath, grounding herself in the moment. The hostess' eyes darted back and forth between Mia and Dr. Harrison, sensing the tension thickening the air around them. "No one is saying setbacks aren't real, Dr. Harrison," she said, her voice steady and strong, "but we believe they can be transformed into stepping stones. Every challenge we face fuels our mission. It's not just about bouncing back, it's about doing so with a purpose." The audience began to murmur. They could feel the weight of her words. Aiden and Emma exchanged hopeful glances, backing Mia with their silent support. "You speak of discipline, but it means nothing without understanding." Without connection, Aiden interjected, the fire in his voice resonating through the room. "We aim to inspire, to uplift. That takes more than discipline, it takes empathy." Mia could see a shift in the crowd's energy. The host's eyes softened, sensing the authenticity radiating from the triplets. Encouragement lifted their spirits. Dr. Harrison, however, remained stoic. Yet, for the first time, Mia noticed a flicker of intrigue in his expression. He was listening now, really listening. "So, your project is about connection, about making sense of pain," he mused, glancing at them. "But how will you reach those who feel isolated? Those who don't share their struggles?" Emma smiled, her confidence spilling over. "We build a community, starting by sharing our own stories, our real struggles and triumphs. It's how we create empathy. We invite people in. We want every voice to echo." The room breathed in hope. Audience members nodded, and Mia felt that ember of strength from the beginning reigniting. Dr. Harrison's demeanor began to thaw. His walls were coming down. "Perhaps, then, it's about building a bridge of our challenges, and not simply a well-structured plan," he finally said, his tone tentative yet exploratory. "It's more about being authentic, about allowing the emotion to lead." It was a breakthrough, a connection forged in recognizing their purpose. This was the moment Mia had hoped for. The host struck while the iron was hot. "Let's pivot to how we translate this passion into something actionable for the community. What's the next step, triplets?" Mia's heart surged as a chorus of voices rang through her mind. "We gather stories. We host events. We connect music and lives. We're calling it the Hope Initiative, she said, her voice ringing clear with certainty. We'll create outreach programs, connecting communities through music. We'll perform, host workshops, and engage in conversations. Together. A spark of recognition flared in the audience. The collective hope felt like a wave crashing through the studio. They were ready to join the fight, ready to embrace change. Mia looked back at Dr. Harrison. He seemed to genuinely consider their vision. What you need to do is get the community behind you, he said slowly. No one can doubt the strength of a group united by purpose. If you can pull that together, I can offer you resources, funding and connections to amplify your message. Mia could hardly breathe. You mean? Yes, he continued, with an almost paternal pride. This is what you all have been working towards. I'm willing to support your mission if you're willing to stay authentic to your roots. It's about real impact, after all. Emma nearly jumped out of her chair. Aiden's face broke into a victorious grin. The thrill of possibility wrapped around them like a warm embrace. They exchanged glances, recognizing what this meant for not just them, but for every story they hoped to amplify. Are you all in? Aiden asked, urgency in his voice. Absolutely. Mia replied, her heart swelling and her eyes shimmering. As they left the studio, the weight of the world had shifted. The sun bathed them with warmth, reflecting the glow of triumph that their shared mission had ignited. They were no longer just three siblings with a dream, they were a force of hope, ready to impact the world around them. The future was bright, painted with stories yet to be told. As they locked arms, a realization washed over them. They were not just overcoming setbacks, they were transforming lives, and just like that, the story of the triplets was no longer solely about them. It was about everyone who would listen, heal, and rise. Now is your turn to contribute to this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the momentum going. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this. Ending your voice matters. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. You need to show your support, so don't wait not even one more second to share. Your engagement helps spread hope further.